Hello and welcome to another episode of the Kennel NRL podcast, where we join you guys live to discuss everything that's happening in the world of rugby league. I mean, not least, obviously, the magic boot of Burton and the Bulldogs' ability to win even under tough conditions, but also State of Origin. The teams have been named. It's been such a big week in footy. And it's a big week on the podcast because guess what, guys? Dibbo's back. Dibbo, lovely to have you back, bro. People thought that we had given you the flick.
I'm back. I'm jet lagged, but I'm here.
Welcome back. Well, how long were you going for? Where'd you go, Dib?
I went for 3 weeks, and let's just say it was a transcontinental trip.
Transcontinental trip, huh? Mr. Intercontinental, Mr. Worldwide.
Look, I'll tell you what. I did wear my incidentally, I was wearing a Dragons trackies when I took off from the airport and landed in a different continent. So I was spreading the gospel of
Rugby league.
the rugby league. Although people look mystified, what's this mystical dragon creature you're advertising to us?
Just want to prove to everybody that we didn't get rid of you. You took a break. You took some time off. And so, I mean, I guess just quickly, Billy, I can hear that. Sorry, just having some technical issues. So let's get straight into it, Dibbo. Couple of big games happening on the weekend. Want to talk very quickly about the Bulldogs and their ability to win games under extreme pressure and duress. We saw it against the Sharks, and then we saw it against the Warriors last week.
Yeah, Berto's come out with some clutch moments. He's pulled them off. The most important thing out of those is they've got the 2 points each week. That's a bonus 4 points because that could have easily been 0 points and they would have potentially found themselves outside the top 8. That's going to be the difference between them making the top 8 and even potentially challenging for a top 4 spot. It does a lot. I'll take them. I know people are saying they're starting to look fatigued or flat. They certainly leaked 2 tries in each of those games. They get the week off this week. Some of their players will have the highs of the State of Origin this week. So, it could do the world of good for Canterbury. They do have a lot to work on in this time off. Get fresh, tweak that attack. And just, hope they come back next week and they're ready to hit their ground running for the business end of the season.
Yeah, spot on. And I think, we'll talk a little bit about that, about being flat and things like that. But just quickly, if you guys are new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed before or if you haven't seen us before, please be sure to like the video. It helps us in the algorithm. Be sure to subscribe. And the other thing is, we actually did an interview with none other than British Bulldog James Graham. That's on our channel. I'll link it in the comments section down below. But please, give us a subscribe. Send some messages as we discuss footy. We love the interaction. So please don't be shy to give us your thoughts and opinions on everything that we're discussing. And yeah, there's a lot to discuss today. There's a lot to discuss.
British Bulldog or British Dragon? I don't know, man.
Bro, Come on. He has a chance to support the Dogs or the Dragons. When the Dogs win, he's pumping, he's fist pumping, he's jumping up and down.
He's always a Bulldog. He's
always been a Bulldog, and he knows that he's still in Sydney as a Bulldog. He does work with the Bulldogs, so it's great to see. John Pierre, thank you for joining, and yes, a great welcome back to Dibbo. Very, very happy to have him back. Now, I want to talk about that Bulldogs and Bulldogs versus Sharks game. For me, that was one of the the Bulldogs and Warriors.
That's all right. I was happy to let you go because you can include it in get out of jail win.
There was a get out of jail win, but my God, what a game! I made a post on Twitter the other day, and I said after the win, and I said this is not good for the blood pressure. Being a Doggy supporter at the moment, playing 85+ minute games on average now.
I'd rather that than rooted down the foot of the table the last few seasons.
Mate. Like I would say that last year, the Dogs probably lose those games by 20. Because we couldn't handle the pressure of good attack or good defense. We just didn't know what we were doing, and so to be winning fugly, as Willie Mason likes to say it, winning when you're meant to be losing or winning the tough games, I think that shows the the type of tenacity that the team has. Because you look at, for example, the way the Sharks played. I don't think the Sharks played poorly. They attacked well, and their big poppers really got them on a roll. But we found a way to keep them to 14.
To frustrate them.
Yeah, it's absolutely... And same with the Warriors. I thought, in the last 10 minutes, the Warriors were coming home with a wet sail, and we still managed to hold them out, which sort of brings me to my player of the match. Like, I have to call this out, right? Marnie made 70 tackles with only missing 4. Yeah? That's an efficiency of like 97, 98%. But what I thought really stood out for me, absolutely stood out for me by Reed Marnie, and I'd love to get your opinion on this, guys, is how he goalied the Chanel Harris-Tavita kick. That was going in for all money. Marnie takes a massive run, dives in front of the ball, gets his little finger to it, knocks it off its trajectory, it goes out, and then the 5-minute buzzer, a golden point halftime buzzer goes off. For me, it really typifies what Marnie's brought to the team over the last, 6 months. People want to talk a lot of crap about his niggling and stuff like that, but I think that it's stupid media spin that we always get, but Marnie's been fantastic.
Yeah, just on all that, I think Cam Serraldo, in the video session this week, will sit the players down, and that is a key moment because beforehand, if he's all recalled during the game, Marnie had his back turned when his teammate played the ball. So he'll use that as a key moment to say he knew he screwed up, he took it upon himself to make up for it, and you can almost say that is the catalyst for the victory. At the end of that game, basically. So, he took it upon himself. I mean, that ball looked like it was going in. The guy's only like 4'3", but looked like he was about 10'7" there.
Oh my God!
When he deflected the ball.
Yeah. And it's a great point because he did make up for that that earlier error, which is really uncharacteristic. I don't think I've ever seen Marnie make that error. I think they were planning their next attack or next set, but yeah, it was quite poor, and I think Kurt Mank would have held it up a little bit until Marnie was ready. But
I totally agree. But then again, like you'd expect Marnie was in La La Land behind him.
I don't know what he was doing. I think they were trying to plan what they were going to do. But
that's right. Man should have communicated to his teammate. It's all good. It's behind him now.
It's behind us. We won. We're still there. So I mean that's great. But I mean, you spoke about a catalyst for winning. There was one tackle there in the second half of Golden Point that I think won us the game. And that was the kick-out hit on Fred Lussick. Lussick. He just absolutely came in and steamrolled him.
Has Lussick announced his retirement after that?
I mean, I think he'll be in hiding for a little bit, but he actually came out and blew him away. And if you look at the following sets, it actually it halted their momentum completely. They weren't able to move forward. They had to kick from their 35-metre line, and we were able to start on our 35, 40-metre line. So that actually gave us the position to win the game. And, for me, that was the play that typified what kick-out means to the team.
Yep.
Kick-out has been absolutely fantastic for the Bulldogs. Every single game. I know that he's got some criticism come out of the line, but you know what? His team trusts him, and they'll back him up. And so I think he was one of the guys that, for me, he's playing injured. He broke his finger, the Tuesday before the Sharks game. He's still playing. And look, I can't speak highly enough of Kikau. I wanted to ask the viewers, I mean, who do you guys think was player of the match for the Bulldogs? Who do you guys think sort of deserves that accolade after such a tough, gritty performance? Leave your comments down below, and we can have a little bit of a chat about that. Dibbo, who do you think stood out for you in that game? Just one player.
I think not just that game, but probably the last few weeks. Reed Marnie. He's getting for a lot of work, basically. Your halves have been quite flat. So Marnie's tried to get creative a few times in those games as well. The points haven't come off, but, I mean, he knew it's also come down to defensive. I'm not going to score the points. I got to basically smother the opposition. He's rallied his troops. So for me, it'd be Reed Marnie.
Reed Marnie. Yeah, look, I think, if there's anyone else that you could probably say does stand out, is Burton. I think, without Burton, we probably don't kick those field goals. The first one against the Sharks, he kicked it from 35 out. The one against the Warriors, kicked it from a similar position, 35 out. And what's interesting is in both instances, they actually hit the goalpost and went in, which for me, it's remarkable, and it's the first time we've won back-to-back.
It's a game of inches.
It is, absolutely, and it's the first time any team has won back-to-back golden point games with a field goal since 2017 by the Cowboys, the year they made the grand final. Which for me is very, very interesting. If you guys are 2024 conspiracy nuts, as Winston Neville is, you'll know what I'm talking about. All the signs are pointing to the Bulldogs being in a 2024 grand final. I'm not convinced. I don't really believe in that stuff, but everything's aligning for us to get there. Lakeside's mentioned. Let's not forget the Sherry try saver. Let me tell you, that is one of the most determined try savers I've ever seen, because it was actually Sherry that missed the initial tackle or got run around, right? And then he continued to go, and he went and he made that try saving tackle. I think that really that was remarkable from Sherry, and it shows how much he's come, in the last 6 months playing for the Bulldogs. I'm glad that they gave him an opportunity. When they first signed him, I was like, I don't know. But for him to make that try-saving tackle shows just how much the boys are playing for each other. And honestly, it gives you such big hope. Really, really gives you such hope for the team. JP sort of mentioned the critter tackle on Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, where they grabbed the ball and it took him out over the 10-meter line, halted the momentum. But, I mean, you expect that now of Critter. He's Captain Courageous. He's absolutely incredible. Now, there's someone else I want to talk about. Someone who I think, should never stop getting the accolades, right? Max King was outstanding. 153 meters, 55 tackles, 0 misses. This guy, everyone says, he's not a first grade, or most teams wouldn't take him as a first grade prop. This guy is outplaying props that are making maybe 5-6 times his money. He is phenomenal. I cannot tell you how good Max King has been this year. He is absolutely tireless. He never ever stops, and when he's off the field, you can tell that our momentum gets stunted. I am just blown away by Maxi King. This guy, can you imagine if he had, for example, Sam Hughes, right? Only took 6 hit-ups for 50 meters or something like that, right? And he's got Curtis Moran on the bench and Josh Curran. Josh Curran is not a prop, and Curtis Moran is a small body. Well, he's essentially the only prop playing full minutes for us at the Bulldogs. I mean, against the Sharks, Sam Hughes had a great game. But Max King just doesn't fail. They re-signed him last year. He was one of the few guys that, they kept on. I honestly, I cannot give this guy enough raps. Can you imagine if he had 1 or 2 other props alongside him? He'll be absolutely incredible.
I'll tell you what I like about Max King is he's very combative. He's not a selfish type of forward where he wants to be a hero and take the ball up every time and want to make up every tackle. He knows what his contributions should be. So he's just giving you quality. He goes about his work quietly, but he's always there. He gets through his work. It doesn't give you a quiet game. So he's all out there looking for the action. That's what he is. Very combative.
And he never takes a backward step. He's never daunted by facing the bigger props. It's like he knows what he needs to do and he'll do it.
He just won't wilt and give it away.
Never. And I think that's what a lot of teams are lacking this year, is that they sort of, if they get dominated or start to get a little bit dominated, they lose that tenacity. Like the Dragons against the Roosters. We'll talk about that. Yeah. But we'll talk about that. Just quickly want to mention, Bill S says that Kikau is a laser-guided missile with a faulty laser. He's past his best. With all due respect, Bill, I think that is completely incorrect. He's playing with 2 broken fingers. He's still showing up for the team. And I think that you're way off the mark, in my opinion. He's way off the mark. Very, very quickly, want to just ask you guys, while you're here, please give the video a like. Please be sure to subscribe and comment as much as you can. We love the interaction. I think it gives us a lot of joy, and we do these things live so that we can interact with you guys. But yeah, please be sure to like the video. Lakeside said that Max has gone to beast mode. Absolutely, and I only think he's going to continue to improve.
Just on on kick out, you got to understand he's come from a champion Penrith Panthers side playing alongside the likes of Nathan Cleary, for example, and Jerome Luai, who are the halves for the New South Wales, and then I think they both played in that World Cup Grand Final against each other as well.
Yep.
He's got their established frauds like Moses Leota and James Fisher-Harris, and some crazy backs.
Liam Martin.
And then into the back line as well. Like at Canterbury, he's had to come back and help him build up from the bottom to the top. He's had a bit of his injury problems, but there's been stages in games this year. He's been absolutely sensational. Like against the Roosters, if you remember in that first half, he absolutely devastated them down that left flank. There's been other games as well. So look, and he's playing with an injury at the moment. I don't think he's past his best, to be honest. I like to see him fully fit. Just his whole, probably Canterbury's going to recruit a few more players next year in the way of Tupanua. So I don't think he's faulty. I don't think he's got any faulty laser whatsoever. I think it's just the scenario is a bit different. That's all.
And I think you got to realize like what he's done for the Bulldogs is that he's become the enforcer. The bloke is always there on the kick chase, first person there. When it comes to the big tackles, he's put on heaps of big tackles this year. I don't really get that. Like a faulty laser doesn't hit Freddie Lussick that hard. That's what I think. I think Kikau's nowhere near past his. I actually think that he has and he can go to another level as a player. So kick out, and don't forget, up until his injury, he was the best second rower in the game by far. The only person that's come close to him this year is Angus Crichton. And Angus Crichton is in career best form. So let's not forget just how good kick out is. Now, we've mentioned kick out, we've mentioned Burton, mentioned Marnie. I have to talk about a back three. Like, talking about, doing it for the forwards, supporting their forward pack. Tracy made 264 metres and he touched the ball 35 times. Kiraz made 215 metres and ran 28 times. Wilson made 261 metres with 28 runs. I genuinely cannot believe that our back three are giving us the mileage that they're giving us. It is just, it just doesn't, I don't understand.
I think your back three, and don't forget Connor Tracy's contribution. I should have mentioned that earlier, but your back three, I think, have been the best performing back three in an NRL this season in terms of contributions. That's how I see it anyway. They've been completely busy. I think it's a game plan that Sorrello's gone with. Obviously, a big contribution from the back three. Mind you, your centres have been contributing huge as well. I think they got the quickest line speed in the game. I think the missed tackles the Dogs have been doing are completely irrelevant because when you rush up in that line, yes, you're more likely to miss tackles, but then you're shepherding the players, the opposition players, into other oncoming traffic.
Yeah, that's right.
So whether they keep that up, whether the other clubs are finding the formula to then unravel the Dogs' tactics is yet to be seen. But at the moment, they're on the cusp of the top four. So at this stage of the year, I'd give the Dogs, from where they were the last 4 or 5 years, I'd probably give them an A+.
Really? You think what would you give them? What would you give them if they were to make the top four this year?
It'd definitely be an A. There's no other way about it. There is absolutely no way. The fact that they're in the top 8 deserves an A+ regardless. I'm not going to go jump ahead because there is still, I think, 8 rounds?
8 rounds, yeah.
Business end of the season. I reckon the Dogs just need to win about half their games and they're in, or probably even maybe 3 out of the 8, whatever's left. They've got a bye, don't they, this week?
Yeah. So
the bye this week will, they could probably lose their, I should even mention that. But anyway, they can probably I'd say they'd probably just need to win half their remaining games and they're in.
So, I mean, it's interesting because I want to talk about a couple of things here. I want to talk about our draw leading into the finals, and then I want to talk about a bit of a form slump that people are saying the Bulldogs are in at the moment. What I'm seeing, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, Dibbo, is I feel like every team is sort of going through the the origin fatigue. Every team, teams are becoming more defensively oriented. Their defense is a little bit more sound. Our team's a little bit tired. We've had some big games. That Sharks game took a lot out of us, and I think it took a lot out of the Sharks as well, seeing as they lost to the Titans. They started very slow, but they couldn't bring it back to win, whereas I think we could against a very determined and desperate Warriors team. I think that's what needs to be highlighted as well. And, we've kept the Sharks to 14, and the Warriors to 12. I think our defense is still there. Our attack is a little bit tired, but I do think the bye comes at the right time for us. Don't forget, Kurtman was at lock, and he has been suspended for 2 weeks, so I think that took time as well. But I don't think we're that bad, and I think we'll come back firing after the bye.
I know he's got Man there for the next few years and a few of those other guys.
He's only there for next year, so we only signed him for 2 years.
So, that's the beauty about it. You're starting to build a strong roster that you don't need to keep players there, towards the end of their career for 3-4 years. They've still got things to offer, but, hey, you got the young buck that's on his way up.
Hayward?
I don't see Hayward as a lock, I'll be honest here.
I reckon Carl Oluwapu, if he comes back.
I hope that guy will be healthy next year. I'm interested to see what he brings. But he might need more towards the back end of the season. I reckon he could break through just to get his body right.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you think about the form slump? Do you think that this is just sort of because I feel like every team is sort of lacking a little bit in their attack. The blowout scores aren't as often.
JP, I don't think it's a form slump. They're winning. I think it's more like they're starting to look a bit flat, maybe in attack. That's what it is, because JP thinks they're in I think you said they're in a form slump or something. So yeah, it's just JP, the defense is holding, but you want your attack to not stagnate. You want it to be flowing, And at the moment, I don't know if it's just the halves are just not correlating. I don't know if it's the backs not having that extra oomph or the forwards close to the line. I mean, they're winning, but come finals time, 14 points ain't going to win you games. Some weeks,
but defense will.
Yeah, it will. But I reckon there's going to be a lot of teams that can easily put 4 or 5 tries. I
mean, the only
in the finals, you're not playing 16th and 10th, for example. You'll be playing 3rd and 2nd and 1st, and they mean business at the business end of the season. Anyone will agree the finals are just a whole new ball game.
Look, I agree, and I think that. I don't disagree, but I also think that Seraldo isn't new to this. So Seraldo's been assistant coach in 3 grand finals, so I think he would be primed to get the team ready for finals. So honestly, I know that it's a whole different beast, and that doesn't concern me.
The only thing he's got counting against him is, how many players have played finals there? Oh, you know what? He's got a few.
Well, Critter, Burton. You've got Kickow.
You can throw Connor Tracy in there. I don't know if he has played, but just throw him in there. You got Man, who's played a fair bit of finals.
Man as well.
Man's been through it all. Man's actually played an extra time finals.
Sherry. Oh no, Sherry hasn't played finals.
Maybe
actually.
He has. Look, I just point out you've actually upset a guy called Brian.
Can I just say, Brian,
please?
On Brian, bro, all you have to do is click the bell icon. And actually, can I ask everybody that's watching right now, just to avoid the pitfalls that Brian Dib is suffering from, just go ahead and click the subscribe button. And next to the subscribe button, there's a little bell icon. If you click that bell icon, you'll get notifications for all our videos when we go live and everything. But just to put it out there, and if you guys haven't noticed, we're actually in a new studio this evening. We've gone to this studio because it allows us to be able to go on a little bit later, spend a little bit more time discussing it, not feel like we're rushed. So if you have a look around, the studio is going to become more decorated soon enough as we sort of get more comfortable in the studio, as we have a little bit more time to prepare. But this will be our time. We'll be going live between 7 and 7:30 every Tuesday. Please just click the bell icon, like this video, make sure to subscribe, and we really, really appreciate all the support, Brian. I love it. And yes, it is live. Now, very quickly.
Did you apologise to Brian?
I'm not going to apologise. Nah, I'm sorry, Brian. I really am. But we're trying to just find out. We're trying to just figure out what works best for us, just so that we can ensure that we've got the best time for ourselves and for everyone. Because we know that at 5 o'clock people are driving or still at work or whatever. But this time works better because people are at home. Now, very quickly, Mothman mentions if Tigers beat Sharks this week, we're in the top 4. Interestingly, Nico Hines is out for the next 6 to 8 weeks. So I don't know if that's going to be a good or a bad thing. But there's a chance for us to go to the top 4. I'm very excited also, as Dibbo has mentioned, and some others have mentioned, that Sitili Tupanua is going to be a great signing for us. I think he's fantastic.
I just want to point out, sorry to interrupt, but he was fantastic on the weekend.
Oh, he was
He
great.
doesn't play in the centres, but it looks like he's a handy addition there if anything ever did happen to the Dogs' back line. Injuries, for example, I don't think form would be an issue there. But he's an absolute gun for. Like, you put him through a gap and he rockets through. You know, like, he's just really
always had the line
robust.
speed. Always had the line speed. And I think he's a bigger body. Okay, he's not huge, but he is a bigger body.
He's very slim, but he just
He's got the strength.
He's so good in attack.
Yeah, he's got the strength. He's got the speed. And I think it's such a pleasure that the Dogs can sign.
They're signing players how they used to.
And players are happy to come to us. Very quickly, Bill, Sam, yes, we are live. We're going to be going live at 7:30, between 7 and 7:30 every Tuesday now. We're in a new studio, and this time works for everybody. Joe Millennium has said the great Dibbo is back. Yes, he is back. We're very, very happy to have him. Now, quickly, want to talk about the draw for the Dogs. So,
surely they got an easy one.
So we've got the bye. We've got the bye this week. Then we've got Cowboys in Townsville, Broncos in Suncorp. Then we have the Raiders at Belmore, the Dragons at Kogarah, the Dolphins up in Bundaberg, the Warriors in New Zealand, then the Sea Eagles at home, and the Cowboys back at home.
Yeah, they better not get complacent. That's got written all over it. They just hearing from the way they've played. They should easily win at least half those games. Easily.
I think the only game...
Complacency is what I'm worried about.
The only game that I genuinely think we could lose is the Cowboys up in Townsville. The Broncos, I mean, it'll be a Saturday at Sun... I think that we don't... Like, traditionally, I don't think Suncorp is going to be that big of a deal. Obviously, the last 6 or 7 years, we've lost everywhere we've gone. So, really no use taking those statistics into account. But I just don't think that...
Aren't the Broncos getting ready for end-of-season party?
Look, honestly, I don't know if they make the top 4. And Adam...
Top 4?
Sorry, top 8.
Top
8.
Sorry, top 8. Actually,
I don't know. And Adam Reynolds... I don't think Adam Reynolds will be back. He's due back.
No Reynolds, no Brisbane.
I mean, Walsh could be there, but I think that...
No Reynolds, no Brisbane.
I think that Critter will do a great job marking up on Walsh. I think that nullifies it.
When are you guys playing him again?
So we're playing them round 21, Saturday, 27th of July.
Nice.
Then we've got the Raiders in Belmore. I think we're in for a big game.
Raiders
in Belmore. That'll be a mad game. Cowboys. Look, I think the Cowboys have played well, but they do struggle against good defence, and I think that will suffocate them.
Where's the game at in Queensland?
It's in Queensland, Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
I think you guys will be good.
Dragons in Kogarah. They'll be desperate to make a top 8.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about them.
I think it'll be a tough game. They're all going to be tough games. So we've got Dolphins in Bundaberg. They are missing Jeremy Marshall King. I think it's one we could win. The one I think we'll lose is the Warriors at Go Media Stadium.
He's only one player. Come on.
I know, but I think their team is a bit flat and they don't have the depth. I just don't think they have the depth.
I think you're right. You're on the money there. They don't have the squad.
They just don't have the depth.
They have no Tom Flegler's out for the year.
Flegler's out
for the
year. Yeah. So they're not even sure he'll come back to
Dolphins
play.
Dolphins are actually in danger of falling out the 8. If they keep stringing those losses together, they'll be kissing the 8 goodbye.
Yeah, Warriors at Go Media Stadium. I think that'll be a tough game.
Didn't you guys just play them?
We did. We played them in
New Zealand.
Yeah, in New Zealand.
They're desperate for wins.
Yeah.
They haven't been too bad.
But I think they've turned the corner as well.
I know, but they've lost very close games. You get me? And it's cost them. Where you guys have won close games, and then look at yous now.
I'm with you. Sea Eagles, I'm not worried about. I think we'll beat them. And
Where's that game? Home game?
That's a home game for us. And I think we'll beat the Cowboys at home as well. So, I mean, maybe we lose maybe 2 or 3.
I think you guys should win at least half based on how you guys are
playing. I think we might lose half. We win at least half. Yeah. We'll win at least half, even more. Now, yeah, Mike, cool. It is a new setup, and we'll be continuing hopefully this setup. And while I have you here, guys, please be sure to give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. It really helps us jump in the algorithm. Helps us continue to build. And if you haven't seen it yet, please go check out our James Graham video. It was a great chat with Jammer. You see a side of him that you probably don't see very often.
Absolutely loved it. I mean, I come back from I wish I could have watched that when I was overseas on those long flights.
Oh, man, it was such a good chat.
Oh, that was really good to listen to. What's the next topic? Are we going to be raging about Ashley Klein or?
Look, just quickly.
Yeah.
Dom says he prefers this studio. Thank you, Dom. We prefer this studio too, and we'll be here more often, as I said. Lakeside's asking, you guys find the 1980 Premiership poster for the background? Lakeside, if you can find one, send us the link.
I very much
be
prefer.
great.
I very much prefer a 1979 one.
Oh, get out of here. Jamie Teasdale thinks that we lose two at most. What do you guys think? How many games do you think we'll win in the remaining rounds? There's going to be 8 or 9 games. I think we lose 3, realistically. But that puts us at
6 out of 9, include the bye.
Yeah, 6 out of 9. Right, that puts us up at about 36 points, which I think just scrapes us into the top 4.
If you don't make the top 4, you should be hosting a home game in the first week of the finals.
I think at the very least we'll host a game. And look, it just all depends on if we can keep turning up for each other, keep playing. So I'm very, very excited about that. Now, one of the things I did want to talk about was Toby Sexton. All I want is to see Toby Sexton get more involved.
Sexton.
In the past 2 games, he's only been, he gets involved in the last 15, 20 minutes, and we see a big difference in our attack. I don't know if it's deliberate from Serraldo or not. I just want to see Sexton more involved. And he's starting to put in some of those kicks that I think our Bulldogs team has not had for years. So that kick he put in for kick out and he scored, that was pinpoint, perfect, right on the money, and Kikau was there to take the ball and get it. And I think we should be targeting that sort of center third for kicks more often when we're in the red zone. I want to see more of that. And I thought some of the kicks that he put in to the wingers and to Roger Tulvashek were pinpoint and they were perfect. So I want to see a little bit.
I think I just want to see more. You know what? I want to see more. Maybe more charging at the line from the forwards. Just more.
We just don't have the forwards for it, though. That's my problem.
I just want to see more of that. Barge, more. I'm starting,
We don't have I don't know if we have the forwards for
he's
it.
He's got the speedy backs, but just the bash up the middle.
Yeah. DJ Wayne, Dog Music. Hope Crichton stays fit for the finals. Man, inshallah, he stays fit for the finals. Inshallah means God willing. Because if he's in the finals, you can bet he'll win us a couple of games. That's what I think.
Yeah, look, Brian, if you can get us Rocket Rod Silver, definitely I'll have him on the podcast. I'll probably even support a step cut like he's back in the days.
Sorry, is there something that I missed that he said?
He's asked who we got on the podcast next.
Brian, we got some really, really exciting things coming up. Again, I don't want to preempt anything.
Which reminds me, I should reach out to that coach.
What are you waiting for?
Yeah, I should.
What the heck are you waiting for?
I hope he comes on so we can bring up some sore points.
Yeah, Doggy's sore points. Yep. Can you put the audio? Luke, I promise you this one will go up onto Spotify either later tonight or tomorrow morning. I promise you they'll go up tomorrow morning at the latest onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Is that the same Luke Thompson that used to play for the Bulldogs?
I would love that. Look, I can probably get. I can. Lakeside is talking. Would love to have Rocket on the 95 win. Was so unexpected. I can probably pull some strings to see to get some of those older legends on. So that's something we can sort of work on.
I'll take Terry Lamb first up.
Yeah, I think we can get. I think we'll bring Terry Lamb on first.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Would you guys like to see Terry Lamb on the podcast? Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you'd like to see Terry Lamb. I just want to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about Origin. I cannot wait for Game 3. I
only just want to rage about Ashley Klein being appointed for Game 3. New South Wales, put an X for your chances. Ashley Klein is the referee. This guy's worse than Barry Gomersall when it comes to State of Origin.
Big call.
I hope he retires this year. I'm just sick and tired of him because he's botched so many countless NRL games over the years, and he's also done the same thing in State of Origin. So,
look, Ashley Klein has been really, really bad. Not having Adam G to referee the games, it just doesn't make any sense. But clearly, there's some politics behind it. Just pathetic. And you can see in the second half of Game 2, he sort of made the game a little bit chaotic to throw New South Wales off being able to score more and more points. It was a get square, you could tell, because New South Wales was so dominant in that first half. He didn't want to be the referee that, that...
The game should have ended up 60 or 70. It's like he started a rescue mission.
He did, absolutely. And that try, that second try that Talangi scored, that wasn't a try.
What about those sin bins and penalties? That was fast.
Come on, Martin gets sin binned for a head rub. Get out of here, man. That was quite pathetic.
Should have rubbed his bald head instead.
Oh, should have gave him a sahsuh. Sahsuh is a nice big slap across the neck. That's what Ashley Klein needed from Liam Martin. Just up, straight across the neck. What do you reckon? Wouldn't that just egg?
Nah, I should have just rubbed his acorn. That was
Nah, bro, it was horrible. Really, really disliked the refereeing.
What Blocker did to who remembers Blocker doing to Eddie Ward? Blocker copped, I think, 4 weeks suspension or something.
I don't remember that.
Tapped Eddie Ward on top of the head after he was sending him to the sin bin. Patted him on the head.
Yeah, Omel Hakes is saying how much you want to bet the referee selectors Queenslanders. Look, could be, but I think it's a bit higher than that in terms of it would probably be like more the Andrew Abdo and Peter Valandis sort of making some of those calls, which again, when you have one person up the top, that's sort of what you get. But I want to talk a little bit about Queensland, right? I want to talk a little bit about Billy Slater.
I'll let you run through it. Let's go.
Very, very quickly.
Glass houses.
Lakeside, thank you so much for that reminder. I apologize. I had this written down and I don't know how I missed it. Massive shout out to Robbo. He passed away last week.
Jeff Robinson.
Jeff Robinson, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Massive shout out to Jeff Robinson. If there's anything that I obviously wasn't around to watch him play, but from everything that was said about him, from everything that was shown, and a lot of the sort of stuff that I saw of Robinson is when the Bulldogs were developing their DNA in the 80s, when the Bulldogs were becoming the family club, the Dogs of War, Jeff Robinson was all about the grit, the determination, and he helped build that.
Jeff Robinson was Fui Moi Moi before Fui Moi Moi came on the scene. He used to run kamikaze into that line. I've been watching footage of him for the last 30 years because those Canterbury sides of the 80s were celebrated, and there's a lot of footage of Robbo with his long, flowing hair and his beard just charging into that line. So he was the focal point of that forward pack for that first half of that decade. He retired before the age of 30, but you're right, he definitely was. He built the DNA. Foremost of that DNA of that Dogs of War forward pack.
I really appreciate you reminding us, Lakeside. It was apologize. We don't. We were planning to do that for Robbo, but yeah, really, really sad. And look, to be honest, I think that the win against the Warriors was really sort of inspired by Robbo. The way we won, the grit, the determination, the unwillingness to give in was very typical of Robbo. So it's a sad day. But he was celebrated like the legend he was by the whole team. So, Vale, Robbo, thanks again for the reminder. And whilst the guys have you here, please be sure to give the thumbs up, subscribe, do all the great things as we give you more and more content. And we've got some great guests lined up for the next couple of weeks. You guys will be very, very excited to see. Now, we're going to get back to State of Origin. I think Billy Slater is taking Fittler's spot as being fried.
Yeah, but he's won 2 in a row series.
He won 2 in a row because he was coaching against
Fittler. 3 in a row. I've lost
2 in a row. We won 2021. He won 22-23. When he got smashed in the press conference, he said, what do you have to say? He's like, we're Queenslanders.
But we used to say the same thing about Wayne Bennett. He turned around and beat us.
No, Wayne Bennett just hated giving to the media. He's clearly rattled. Number one, he's not letting the media to their training sessions, right? Because
good on him, infuriate him more.
Look, I'm
Slater.
I'm not a fan. Look, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of the media either. But this is State of Origin. State of Origin is about the fans. The other thing is, he refuses to choose David Fafita when his team is absolutely in need of a game breaker. It doesn't make any sense to me. When you look at when you look at their props, they've only got Collins and Fotuaika as true, genuine props. Nene can't play in the middle. Capewell can't play in the middle. Kovusi's too old to play in the middle. Carrigan isn't really a prop. He plays minutes, but they don't really have someone that can go in there and play lock if Carrigan was to come off. They've got both Grant and Ponga on the bench. Ponga's been out for 10, 11 weeks. Only has 1 game back, straight into Origin. He's got Capewell starting, right, up against Crichton and Martin, who are absolute meathead angry people. So, for me, it doesn't make any sense. And
we got Jake Trebojevic on the team.
Look,
I would have had Barnett starting instead of Trebojevic. I would have had Trebojevic not in the team.
We'll get to New South Wales in a minute. But I just want to focus on Queensland, right? I think that Billy Slater is sort of buying too much into the Queensland Origin superiority. I think he's relying too much on Suncorp to do a number on the Blues, and I think Madge is preparing the team well. He's chosen a very, very good team with one exception, that being Jake Trbojevic. But, you know, I don't understand what Billy Slater thinks is going to happen. Does he think that Ponga's going to go on there and just work his magic? Because if you look at our defensive team, right, you look at Mitch Barnett, the bloke made like 700 tackles and ran for 7,000 metres, right, against for the Warriors against the Bulldogs. He's the type of player that will tackle and tackle and play and tackle and tackle and tackle. Jake Trbojevic will tackle all day long and not miss any. You've got Cameron Murray, does not miss a tackle. I don't think the guy knows what a missed tackle means, right? You look at even Isaiah Yeo, doesn't miss a tackle. For me, it doesn't... It just doesn't make sense. And Brian Dibbo said Slater is showing his arrogance. You know, he's rattled. He isn't used to being rattled or losing. It's new to him. I absolutely agree with you. That Billy Slater does not know how to deal with actually losing and coming up against the team that is chosen, the best players chosen for their positions. Fittler used to close his eyes and throw darts at a board and choose his teams that way. That's the only way I can explain some of his choices.
Did you watch Randy's Bar or something?
Yeah.
And there was him and Greg Alexander, you know?
Yeah, I saw that.
And then they came out. Who was that player they landed on? Was it Nico Hines or someone? I can't remember.
I don't remember. But
even back then.
Yeah. And look, you know, Zatar saying Slater's in the same position as Fittler before the sack, making ridiculous roster decisions. I agree. He's just... you know, what is it against Fafita you think that he has? I don't understand. Has Fafita done something wrong? Is he, you know, has he insulted him? Because I think Fafita's been one of the reasons why the Titans have made a comeback.
Yeah, that's just, you know, Fafita's easily, Fafita will give you one or two tries. His try can get you back in the game. He can put you further ahead. He can cover 50, 60 metres himself. Like he does those bullocking runs like a back.
Bro, he's a big body. He takes a dummy half run and he'll make you, 20, 30 metres out of dummy half because he's just that big and that quick.
He's impossible to stop.
He's, close to the line. You just let him burst onto the ball. He'll be very hard to stop. So for me, it's like, again, it's that absolute Queensland arrogance. They think, we're going up to Suncorp, we're this, we're that. Look, Capewell is a good player, right? Capewell's a good player, but he will get absolutely manhandled by the likes of Martin and Crichton, right? Can you imagine having him defend up against someone like Dylan Edwards, who's always running, is always quick, or Mitchell Moses putting in some of his kicks for Lomax? Look,
I'll tell you one thing. Capewell was impressive against the Dogs. You can't deny him that. He covered everywhere. He did run well.
I don't think he was capable,
obviously,
though.
I'm not going to disagree with you. I'd have Fafita there ahead of, Kafusi at the least, if not him. I'll definitely have Fafita in that 17.
Absolutely. He's got to be somewhere. He'd be starting. And, Brian Dibbo mentioning as well that, he forced Papali'i into Origin. I don't know if he forced him into retirement. I think Papali'i's sort of lost it even when it comes to Canberra. I think he's missing...
Papali'i's been around for about 15 years.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time.
I think it's just... trying to just prolong his NRL career.
Yeah.
What is he, 33 now?
I'm not sure, but he's been around for a long time. Yeah. So
he's going to make 300 games in. For a front row, it's almost unheard of.
Yeah, agreed. And look, I don't think he would have done any good for Queensland. Zatar has mentioned that, if he brought Fafita in, he would essentially be agreeing with everybody else that he made a mistake for game 2. I think you're right. There's Zatar. I think it is that unbridled, uncontrolled arrogance, and he doesn't want to be seen to have made mistakes. But I mean, at the end of the day, you did make a mistake, and that's okay, right? But you look at, and here's what I like about Madge, is that Madge knows that maybe they could have had one more prop, and Olok Kawatu wasn't giving him exactly what was needed. You have Mitch Barnett on there. Jake Trbojevic comes on. Mitch Barnett comes on. Mitch Barnett is twice the player that Jake Trbojevic is. Still makes the same tackles. Makes many, many more meters. Right? Can slot in the second row as well. He's been playing second row for the Warriors, but can play prop as well, as he played against the Bulldogs. And he's just an all-round excellent decision. You've got Isaiah Yeo there. You've got Watson, and then you've got Spencer Leniu. So that bench for me is one of the best benches I personally think I've seen for a New South Wales Origin team in a very, very long time. It's a very, very, very good bench, right? And I think Queensland, even with Suncorp, even with their supporters, I think Queensland will, again, not really know what hit them. And he's a very controversial call. I think DCE is well past it. He had a good one. He had a good game one against 12 players, but against a full team, I think DCE is past it. I genuinely believe that they should have had Sam Walker or someone else at 7.
I think Sam Walker will be there next year.
He has to be. I think DCE is past it.
He'll be there. Munster will still be around.
Defensively, yeah, Munster. I mean, Munster's obviously he's a freak.
Dearden's around as well still.
I mean,
Dearden playing this game?
Yeah, Dearden 6.
He wouldn't be there if a few of the other players were fit.
They're saying, Omar. Look, I think that their spine is decent, but I think our spine's actually better than theirs.
I just think they got players that can really turn it on, like Tabuai Fido, Ponga on his day. You just got to watch it. Even Valentine Holmes can pull some diamond out of the hat. You just got to be wary about some of their players.
Look, Valentine Holmes is a witch's hat. I agree with you. Look, I agree with you that they do have good players. I'm not going to deny they're Queensland. They always have good players. But the thing is, they don't have I feel like they're lacking the aggression. They're lacking that go forward. They are lacking that go forward. Like if you want to talk about our go forward, right? You look at our second rowers. Liam Martin and Angus Crichton.
Yeah, but they're playing in
and then
Queensland.
Cameron Murray.
The Queenslanders will be playing.
Bro, I'm with you.
Triple their ability.
I'm with you. But I think in the last 2 deciders, we've had, we had Turbo go down and then Cook play at centre where they absolutely exploited him. Like you've got I understand the hype and I think it will be worth something, but I don't know. I think that Slater isn't the great wise coach he thinks he is. And I think Madge...
It's only 3 games a year. It's not like he's coaching 27 games a year.
Yeah, you're right. And I think Madge has been great for the Blues. I think he's been willing to engage Queensland in some crap talk. And it's making the game more exciting. But I also think that it's showing the team that he wants to see aggression and he's not afraid of giving it to Queensland. And that's why I think Fittler's been too diplomatic in the past.
Well, him and Billy are good mates in that Channel 9 commentary.
Oh, mate.
And on those road trips.
Nah. Lakeside saying that New South Wales just win or Queensland run away with it. I think New South Wales win 13+. I think New South Wales wins comfortably.
But, New South Wales doesn't have the champion sides of the Laurie Dailies and Ricky Stewarts and Bradley Clydes and Paul Harrigans and of those, that first half of the
But it's 90s. A whole different type of game, though. I think it's a whole different type of game. You look at Spencer Leniu on the bench, right? This guy is especially going up there. You think he's going to go easy up in Queensland? He's going to go 10 times as hard. And the whole talk now has been about Suncorp. I guarantee you they're going to go up there.
Brian, I totally agree. I feel like the ref will also be part of the parochial crowd. And,
always.
He'll be, as they say, he'll be dancing to the tune of the crowd. So he'll be penalising New South Wales and giving 6 against just for blinking as well. So. Right. Yeah, I think I totally agree on you. I'm absolutely livid that he got game 3, to be honest. I don't think New South Wales is going to get a fair game with him at the helm.
But I think that depending on how we play, we can take it out of his hands. That's what I think. But I want to ask you, Latrell's out with Best taking his place. I don't think Best was the right option. I think that they could have gone Burton or Turbo. Turbo probably being...
He's not still in the clear. I know he went for scans and all that. We haven't heard about it since, but he's not in the clear. So I dare say Burto could still play.
How much are we going to miss Latrell?
Oh,
right?
If Latrell's there, I'm so confident we'll win that game.
I agree. And I think, what about Best? Do you think Best could do a good job there?
I mean, he was spectacular last year in that game 3, but he's under an injury cloud.
Yeah.
Plus, he's smitten about some boxer's daughter at the moment.
Oh, you always have to bring that up.
I was laughing about that.
Just quickly, if you are still with us, please be sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss when we go live. Thank you, just very quickly. So, I think with Latrell there, we blow them off the park like we did game 2. Without Latrell there, I think we win 13+, right? Don't forget, Hammer was injured. He's been out for 3 weeks. He's coming up against Crichton. I think Crichton will cover him quite comfortably. Valentine Holmes is on the wing. with Gagai in the centre coming up against Bradman Best. I personally think that this is another stupid choice by Billy Slater.
Gagai and Bradman Best are teammates.
He is, but I think Gagai
This gets more interesting.
Gagai's past it. I don't think Gagai has the speed anymore.
Oh, he's got the experience and he's still very.
No, I'm with you.
Defense.
I'm with you, but that explosive speed.
He was never really jet speed anyway to begin with. Do you remember when Tyson Frizzell chased him down and stuff? Chased him down. He gave him like a 10-meter head start.
But Gagai was explosive on the mark. That's what I think.
Oh, he was always had solid speed.
Brian Dipp saying that. Zatar is saying that Best will do his job without being man of the match. And doesn't have the potential that Turbo Alberto have. And Brian Dipp is saying Louis is very overrated. I'm going to assume you're saying Luai. Is that correct, Brian Dipp? But I agree. I think he will do his job as long as he marks up on Gagai and can give early ball to...
We just got to hope Mitchell Moses has a half like he did in that first half in the game too. Because it's very, very, very hard to reproduce those sort of halves. I don't think he's ever had a half like that in his whole NRL career.
I'm with you, but that also comes down to the team being up for it and his long kicking game, putting the team in good positions. I think that is something that should not be discounted. Moses, and the thing is, Moses against the Knights, he was the best. He was the Eels' best player, even against the Rabbitohs. The guy puts in 150% every single game, and I think he knows that if he wants to perform well at Game 3, he needs to maintain that rage. He needs to maintain the same level. But okay, then let me put this to you, and I'm going to put this to everyone in the team, right? I'm going to put this to everybody out in the chat. Cleary should be back. He's back. Does Cleary have a place in this 17?
No.
Even after the injuries that he's come back from?
No, I don't think he'd want to come back and play off no prep.
Why not? Cleary is like the Ronaldo. Hang on.
Yeah, I know, but Cleary doesn't live and breathe and think, New South Wales is life. No.
Cleary is like the he's like the Messi or the Ronaldo of rugby league.
Of course.
At the moment.
Of course.
Do you not think that he should get a spot straight back in the team? Genuine question, and I'll put this out to everybody.
But how? What are you going to do? Leave him on the bench for 70 minutes?
Put him in 14.
And how often is he going to come on the field? And what role is he going to be playing in?
Whatever. Bro, you have someone like him, come on the bench, come on. You can put him everywhere.
Where?
Anywhere.
I don't think he'd excel at fullback. I don't think he'd excel in the centres or on the wing.
You don't think he'll do well at 9?
No.
I think he would.
I don't think Ivan Cleary would want his chief number 7 getting steamrolled.
You can move Luai to 9.
He'll be having to pull off 50, 60 tackles.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying
job.
start him there. I'm saying put him on last 10 minutes to go in there and tear up the defense.
I mean, if he's happy to do what Andrew Johns used to do.
That's my point.
But why would I have the best halfback in the game coming in at 9?
Why not? You need to have him
coming in at 7.
All right, then you move Luai to 9 and you put Cleary there.
Look, I have no issues with that. The only thing I got is fitness.
You weren't going to play him for 80 minutes. You play him for 20, 30 minutes, and
fitness.
I think the amount
speed.
of what he can bring to that. I mean, think about it this way. Hang on. Think about it this way. Ponga's only been back for 1 week. Ponga's been out the exact same time Cleary has. Slater's thrown him straight onto the bench.
That's silly.
I know it is, but that's sort of where I'm thinking. Is
he banking on? He's either banking on Reece Walsh to have a hot game, or to spectacularly fail because there's never in between with Reece Walsh. So that's his insurance policy with Ponga, and Ponga's only had 1 game back. And the same thing could potentially happen to Ponga. He might just be ineffective.
I'm with you, and I think he's trying to play small ball with the team that he's chosen. He's trying to play a bit of small ball, try to tire our big forwards out. But he doesn't get that we've chosen the most tireless props I think we've ever seen. Like you look at the numbers.
Mitch Barnett is really
What about Payne?
Stop.
Does Payne ever stop? Payne half?
I don't think he gets enough game time.
Yep, that's my point. Right, look at someone like Isaiah Yeo. The guy could play forever. Even look at Cameron Murray. But Cameron Murray can play 80 minutes easily, make 40, 50 tackles.
I think New South Wales' most important player on Wednesday next week, that is going to be Payne Haas. Because if he has a half like he did in Melbourne, then he'll negate the Queensland forwards, negate the crowd, and he'll put New South Wales on the front foot and set them up for a big second half as well.
Yeah, I think, look, as long as we get on the front foot, the crowd will be quiet.
And then you'll have the aggressors like Liam Martin and Mitch Barnett and Spencer Leniu taking and Angus Crichton. You know, I hope Crichton has a massive game as well.
I think it will.
You know, he's probably the second most important player.
Bro, he's just in career best form. It's unbelievable. Like last year, we know he had his troubles, and this year he's just
gone back to that South Sydney strength.
Unbelievable.
Remember him at South strong he was?
Unbelievable. Wow. And he's just re-signed. So, I mean, I'm calling it New South Wales 13 plus. What are your thoughts? Put your thoughts down below in the comments. Moses and Cleary halves. If Cleary had 2 to 3 games prior to game 3, I think Moses and Cleary would have been a better option straight away. But Luai has played very, very good for the Blues, so you sort of don't want to change.
Somebody brought up Lance Armstrong. These guys, they can play for it, but they still get tired. That's Brian. They recover quickly, but constant special elite. These guys aren't Lance Armstrong. They're not on the steroids.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, but I just think that the forwards will be primed for a big game. Now, you know, tell me what your thoughts are on what the score will be. As I said, I'm saying Blues to score 30 plus points and win 13 plus. Let me know what you guys think down below. Now, just want to talk about the Dragons, bro. Yeah. The Dragons against the Roosters in 2024 was like the Dogs against the Knights in 2023. They've conceded 108 points or something like that.
Against the Roosters in the COVID years.
Yeah. They've conceded 100 plus points, weren't able to score many more. Tell me your thoughts.
Look, Dragons are higher up the ladder than they should be. They've had a few things go their way. Luck of the draw, I guess, and then playing teams missing key players, and then buys at the right time, games against teams in the State of Origin period, missing their key players. Plus, I guess they've scraped 2 or 3 wins they shouldn't have won. They're high up the ladder. Man, the Roosters were phenomenal on the weekend. Like, I watched that reserve grade game before, and it was the Dragons versus the Roosters. And I looked at the Roosters side and realised Sia Wong and Nafahu White were playing reserve grade. Like, what? And you know what? Like, looking at the Roosters bench that game, they were insane. Then I saw these guys. And don't forget, Roosters got injuries as well. Like, there was no Swali'i, no Manu, for example, no Billy Smith. Like, and Tupanua. And hang on a sec, Tupanua had to play in the centre. So there's another forward that's gone from the back line. And that potentially could have been one of those other forwards on the bench should have been playing reserve grade in that case. Potentially too. And it's just crazy. It's phenomenal. Like, that game, Ben Murdoch-Masila had to be the Dragons' best player on the field.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like, I was cringing when the ref was giving us leg ups with those 6 agains and all that, because I thought, we're getting our ass kicked. But, like, don't give us a leg up and we still get our ass kicked as well.
This is embarrassing.
It just gets even worse. The Dragons' recruitment policy is like this. We'll offer overs to probably the worst marquee signing in the history of the game. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just think he's failed spectacularly as a marquee signing. So St. George will go and pay overs for Ben Hunt. But running through it, there's been, in the last 12 months, a host of players that have come on the market, and the Dragons have signed zilch. They won't even pay overs for them. So they'll only pay overs for Ben Hunt, and then they'll champion a re-signing of a player that's been tried and tested at the club. Like, he's been tried and tested. Like, why are you celebrating the re-signing of this player? That's nothing spectacular. How else do you expect to go up the ladder? Go get players that are tried and tested elsewhere, bring a new flavour to the club. That's the problem with their recruitment policy. They don't want to pay overs to try to entice talent to the club. So, okay, you might as well stay out of the top 8, towards the bottom of the ladder. Right, and then there's another thing that Flanagan's got at the problem.
Fire up, bro, fire up.
He's got favouritism. And in this case, it is his son. Like, I know Marshke's been injured the last few weeks, but Marshke's got limited chances in the run-on side, and he's got 2 Man of the Match awards. He's had 16 rounds to give Marshke a run alongside Ben Hunt. So I'm discounting the last few weeks he was injured. He's had 16 rounds to give Marshke a run alongside Ben Hunt, not alongside his son when Ben Hunt's unavailable. And yet, Marshke can't even get a look in. And when he did get a look in the unfamiliar position or in the centres, or coming off the bench to relieve the hooker for 10 or 15 minutes. The guy's a running half. He's a dominant half. Ben Hunt needs that. Not his, it's my son playing alongside. His son's actually been atrocious the last month. When Marshke played alongside his son against Penrith, Marshke was absolutely the dominant half in that game and deservedly man of the match. Where was his son to be seen? Yet, lo and behold, Ben Hutton comes back, Marshke makes way. That's just, And you go online on the forums, even opposition fans, and they're all saying, like, this guy's son's been atrocious. Why hasn't he been dropped? If you're not going to drop him, put him in the 14 job. I don't know what Fuamanu Brown's at the club for.
I don't understand that signing. Just quickly, please, if you have joined us recently, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to us, leave us a comment. If you like what we're doing, please just quickly, it really, really helps continue to drive everything that we do.
And just on that, they're now in a desperate situation that now it looks like they are starting to be forced to pay overs for. And I don't mind these two players they're talking to.
Yeah.
Daniel Saifidi, who they tried to talk to 2 years ago, unsuccessfully, and Matt Lodge. It adds much more starch than what they got there at the moment, because I'll just point it out now. Blake Laurie, he was atrocious.
What happened to he's gone down to heels so bad? He was player of the year last year, though.
Yeah, but that's how horrible the side is.
No, come on. He was a good forward for you guys last year.
Oh, please.
Come on.
Please. He gives it his all, but he's ineffective.
No, but this year he hasn't done anything. It's
this year he's not only not giving it his all, he's been ineffective again anyway, but even worse. So I would absolutely take Lodge and Saifidi. That's a start. You know, get some players. This is what they should have been doing a couple of years ago, paying overs to get some sort of talent. You know,
like for me, you know, I thought they were speaking to Sitili Tupanua. I thought that they would have signed him.
They botched it, just like they botched the kick-out signing a few years ago.
I thought they would have had Adam or Blake, or at least made a play for him, a proper play for him. But apparently he signed on unders to the Sharks because he knows that they're a premiership threat.
The Dragons hierarchy, I'm not referring to the coaching, but the Dragons hierarchy or the Dragons club don't exactly endear themselves to players and player managers. Probably the media as well. They're just a nothing club down there. I don't know what their DNA is. Don't know what their aim is. They somehow seem to have the biggest stakeholder or shareholder in Channel 9. The Gordon family own Win TV. They also got Australia's richest man or Australia's richest person on board in Twiggy Forrest as the main sponsor from next year. But like, what is the ambition of this club? What is its goals? You know, like, what is it?
Yeah, because
stop talking about we've had history and all that. That's gone now. That's in an age that, you know, my grandparents, you know, God rest their souls, but must have watched. That's gone.
100%. But let me ask you something, right? Let me ask you something. Do you re-sign Ben Hunt? I've been talking to a few of my other Dragons mates, like Salim and stuff, and all, even, you know, my wife is a big Dragon supporter, and everyone thinks that Ben Hunt should be moved on. There should be a clean out. There should be somewhat of a clean out.
You know my position on this. I have been for this for a while. Either he goes to hooker, or he leaves.
Well, they signed Damien Cook, so
regardless. I mean, Cook's at the back end of his career, so is Ben Hunt. Ben Hunt might not even play beyond next year. He'll be 35. They can't play on forever. My opinion, Marshke and Jono Glover, the Canterbury junior, should be their halves. In all honesty, like, that's how it should be. And I like what Canterbury's doing on their end. You know, they got Mitchell. I think Canterbury know, and probably fans are probably in denial, but they got a halves problem. They got some good gun halves in the reserves.
Oh, we know.
And then you got Mitchell Woods, who's going to be the Australian half for the under-20s or whatever it is. He's the New South Wales half. Yeah. He took that side to the grand final. And, you know, like, they don't just want one gun half. They want to bring in 2-3 gun halves.
Well, actually...
And if we lose one, so what? We got 2 gun halves in the next 4 or 5 years.
Gus has actually said that they're building a halfback academy or a halfback... program, as opposed to just having one. They're building a whole group.
So it doesn't matter if they lose some.
That's right. But they're heavily investing in Mitchell Woods. Joseph O'Neill's looked at very, very highly in the club as well.
Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking about.
So the Bulldogs are thinking ahead. Sometimes I think that future vision is lacking for the Dragons, right? What signings other than Damien Cook have they made that's actually going to make a difference to their playing ability next year?
Re-signing Tom Eisenhuth, re-signing, I think, Matt Finney, and re-signing Jack DeBellin. Like, these are tried and tested players. Don't go champion these signings. Go out and get me and champion the signing, for example. We signed Tupanua. We've signed Adam Fanua-Blake. These are the sort of players, or Adam Fanua-Blake.
Like,
anyway,
the only one signing that you made that I thought was a great signing was Hame Sele. He's the only one, and he's been injured.
Yeah, no, look, I don't think he was a player that you signed to bring other players. I thought it was more like to add strength to the squad. Yeah, but he's a
good signing. Regardless, that was a good move, right?
I think Saifidi and Lodge helps the strength of the team, and it starts looking a bit more attractive for other players to want to come over. You know, Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know where this club is going.
But what's the issue, right? Because the Dragons haven't been horrible. They've been okay this year. But then they come up against the Roosters, and in both games, they shit themselves. Like with the Dogs last year, we were horrible. I understand that, whatever. But
That's
I'm saying,
the actual golf between the good sides and St. George.
Right.
So that is an indicator that St. George is not a top 8 side. I've pointed out why they're that high up the ladder already. You know, you got to be frank. You can't sit here wishful thinking that they're going to make the top 8 and they're going to challenge for the title. You know, there's 16 other NRL sides. Why should your side be winning the grand final or you know, challenging for that?
I just don't think they have the mental tenacity. Like,
of course, they fell away.
Like the way I look at it is, if they were put in the same position against the Sharks or against the Warriors, I don't think the Dragons win. Like the games that they had against, like, you know,
I'll be honest here, just how the Sharks have been this year and their fans. I'd love to beat the Sharks in a rematch.
I'm with you. Honestly, I'm with you.
The Warriors, I think that was the Dragons' finest game the whole year, and it was a home game as well. So, but other than that, yeah.
I just quickly, Luke Thompson's asked, can you please get Terry Lamb on the podcast? He was my favourite as a kid.
We'll try, Luke.
We're going to do our best to get Terry. Look, I don't think Terry will be hard to get. I think we should be able to get Terry Lamb on. Don't know when. Hopefully, it will be soon. But I can't make any promises. But Terry Lamb is someone we would love to have on the podcast. He's one of those guys that we all sort of grew up admiring as Doggies fans. So absolutely, he's one of those guys I would love to have on. And you know what? If I can confirm that we're getting Terry Lamb on, might put a post out to get you guys to send in your questions and go from there.
Luke Thompson, by the way, I think the Chipping Northern Kangaroos are coming back into the Canterbury comp next year.
They are.
Yeah. So the green and gold side.
So actually,
I think that's their colours.
So there's a video coming out in the next couple of weeks that we did from the Green Acre Tigers Gala Day, and John Curry saying that the Canterbury Junior League is actually growing as opposed to shrinking, which every junior league hasn't been growing.
There's a lot of parents I know want to take their kids to, as a fresh start, to Chipping Northern Kangaroos next year.
Mate,
it's only down the M5, a short drive.
Yeah. So Zatar's asked, when are you getting the cameraman on the potty? I've been telling the cameraman to get his own mic and camera for a long time. But look, he's going to join us. It's Billy, the producer.
I love you guys.
That's him. That's our producer.
I think our ratings just peaked after that.
I wouldn't know how to talk about footy for, to save my life.
You can talk about UFC if you want. I'm sure we've got a lot of UFC fans in the potty. Please, if you are here, please be sure to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. This is we go live. We're going to be going live every Tuesday between 7 and 7:30. I'll put it out there when we will be going live. We love doing this. We love getting all your chats, all your comments, and interacting. We've been going for about an hour and a half, a bit longer than that. It's been an absolute blast. Dibbo, so good to have you back on the podcast. You're not going anywhere, are you?
I've got a few trips in the pan,
You staying part of the podcast?
I might have to do it remotely.
You're not doing it remotely. You're going here. We're not allowing. We're taking his passport. We're locking him up. He's going to be here forever. He's not going anywhere. We'll give him a raise. We'll throw everything at him just to make sure that he stays. But we really, really thank everybody for being on the podcast with us today. It's been so much fun. Let us know in the comments whether you prefer this time or the earlier time. Personally, I think that this time
I like
better.
This time. Seems like we get more
time
more
to
interaction
talk.
and more people watching.
Yeah. We just broke 50 people. I'm going to ask, if you're here, we've broken 50, please be sure to like this video. Click on the bell icon, subscribe to our channel. We love you all. Thank you so much for everything that you guys do to support us. Be sure to watch the James Graham episode. We're very, very much looking forward to State of Origin Game 3, and we're looking forward to the post-Origin time. I think that's when teams really start to show their colours. We are all on the Bulldogs train at the moment. We're going to be doing so much more. We've got heaps of content coming up as we're going through the year. We've got heaps of players, heaps of guys from different clubs coming on. So it's not just going to be the Bulldogs. We are going to have things happening.
If you haven't, if you haven't watched the James Graham video, go back and watch it. And then also we've got a lot of interviews with other footy players and media personalities from this year and last year. So go ahead and give them a watch.
Yeah, and again, thank you for your support. If you have made it right until the end, thank you very much. We've got a couple of big things coming up in the works. We'll be sure to let you guys know when all that comes out. It's been a phenomenal time. I want to thank Dibbo for being on the episode this evening. I want to thank Billy, our producer, for doing such a wonderful job. Up the Dogs. Let's see if we can win 6 or 7 of the remaining 9, make it into the top 4. And if you don't support the Dogs, I hope your team does well. I hope your team wins. Unless you support the Eels, you can go and get stuffed, and I hope they lose. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great evening. Did you stop the...